Okay, it's me again. Are you tired of watching me yet? No, I didn't think so. You're just like eating it up, right? You're like, yay, another video. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Belinda Ellsworth's session about booking a full calendar. And I was like, I need to go to this one because that's where your business is. It's booking those parties, right? I mean, my husband breaks it down. He's like, it's super simple. Isn't it all you have to do is just book parties and sell stuff? And I was like, I wanted to hit him at first, but then I was like, oh, you're right. It is. It's kind of like just booking parties and selling stuff. Which, okay. I mean, maybe it's not just that, but it's important to book those parties. It's important to, she says, a party can get you everything you need in this business if you do it right. All right. What you do, you can get sales from a party. You can get more hostesses from a party. You can get recruits from a party. Okay. So what's the one thing you have to get? A party. All right. So get a party. Especially, I really, really want to encourage you. And they kept saying this at different sessions too. I'm not going to tell you how to do your business, but home parties have higher payout. They kept talking about home parties, and I am really converted to that opinion at this point. I realize it's not going to be realistic for everyone, and so that's why they are giving you those trainings for how to do Instagram parties and Facebook parties and all the others and Pinterest parties. But if you can, and if it's at all possible, please book home parties, at least 1 or 2 a month, and then just supplement with Facebook or whatever. But I am loving the home parties that I've done. It is so much fun to help ladies get them wraps on their nails for the first time. And they're like, oh, this is easy. It's not, because they're intimidated. You don't want a one-time buyer where they're too scared to put them on their nails and they just put them in a drawer somewhere. That is not gonna help you build your business where you can have repeat customers. And so that's what you want. Ideally, you want to have fanatical customers that just keep coming back. So here we go. Then she said resurfacing is key. That's what I'm talking about. You want to you're providing a service here. You're not getting a sale. You're providing a service and you're building relationships, and that is huge. People are so much more likely to buy from someone who they feel they have a relationship with rather than just this person who's trying to get their money. And so while you're out and about, keep your wraps on. Make sure that you have your host join brochure or business card, or actually all of the above, a catalog, samples, whatever you do. If you pass out a sample, get their information. Okay, say I need to check in with you and send you the video. Like have a reason that you need their contact info. You don't. They're much more likely to give it to you if you're just like, oh yeah, and it'd be so easy. I'll take down your number and I'll message you the application video so that it's super easy for you to put this on. And that way you can follow up with them and say, hey, did it get lost in the bottom of your purse? I want to see it on your nails. And it would be so much better that way. I don't know how many people I've told about the business that I didn't get their information. And so they're just out there floating around. They know about Jamberry now, but I have no way of following up with them. So I learned my lesson. All right, then make sure that you have your stickers on everything that you give out. Make sure you prep that in advance. You have your labels with your contact information on anything that you hand out. You can take your party in a bag everywhere. I have mine right here. Okay, here's mine. This is a 31 bag. I have a 31 consultant I can refer you to if you don't have one. And it's just this awesome bag. It has everything in it. I've got my host join brochures. Usually this has pens in it, but my ladies at my last party just took them all out. Has some samples, some orange sticks, everything I need to put cuticle pushers, my catalogs and order forms, and everything else is in here. And so that's really everything I need. And I had this with me on the plane. I was able to just whip it out and show the lady next to me when she's like, oh, what's Jamberry? I was like, you have no idea what you're in for. So she was super nice. She seemed very interested. She told me she was going to tell her daughter and her niece about it. And she said they might even be interested in the business. So I was like, yeah, they would. It's an amazing business. So I hope she calls me. And then she, let's see, Belinda said, make sure that you practice your 30-second commercial, and even get it down to a 10-second commercial, because sometimes you don't even have that 30 seconds if you're checking out at the cashier or whatever. Instead of, like, when people ask you, what do you do? What do you say? Do you say who you are? Like, oh, I'm a lead executive at Jamberry Nails. They don't care about that. Tell what service you provide. Say, I help ladies learn about an amazing product that can make their nails look beautiful for up to 2 weeks. And that'll be intriguing, right? They'll be like, what is that? I mean, that leads to follow-up questions, right? Instead of, like, when you say, I'm whatever rank at Jamberry Nails, that leads to nowhere. I mean, they might be like, oh, that's great. And because they don't want to feel stupid for not knowing what Jamberry Nails is. So yeah, leave it kind of open-ended so that they ask follow-up questions, so you don't feel like you're just dumping all the information on them without being asked for it. It's so much better when they ask you for it and seem interested, and then you can give them the information, and then they, it's just a back and forth and much more natural that way. And less salesy too. You don't want to ever be that pushy, crazy lady who tells everything about everything that you do in the first 5 minutes that you know them. So then something that I always do is if somebody says, oh, I love your nails, you say, oh, it's Jamberry, have you heard of it? Or ask a question. It's not just, oh, it's Jamberry. And they're like, oh, great. Like, I mean, you have to ask a question. It gives something for them to respond to. Like, have you ever heard of it? It's amazing. And then you can go blah, blah, blah. So dress for success. This is what we were talking about before with image. Belinda says before she would leave the house every day, she would ask herself this question while she's looking in the mirror. Would someone invite me into their home? So if you have, I mean, I don't want to give a bad example because maybe some of you do this, but if you're wearing your jammy pants and I don't know, just whatever, you want somebody, you want to look like an authority on some style. So, and you also want to look trustworthy. So, if you're super skanky or just very intimidating looking, like, you just want to be somebody very approachable that looks like they would have a great time, if they invited you into their home. So, lead with the product. All right. So you want people to get excited about the product, because that in turn is going to get them excited about the partying and the business. But, if they don't love the product, they're not going to be a great hostess. They're not going to be a great consultant either. No matter how great the business opportunity is, if they don't love the product themselves, they're not going to have the passion that's necessary to be successful. Know your available dates. This is huge. Okay. So you just, even before you leave the house, know what your next 2 available dates are. Because especially before you go to a party, but even just before going out and about, because you might run into somebody who'd be willing to book on the spot, but you're not going to know that unless you know specifically a date you can offer them. So if you're like, oh yeah, I'll get back with you on some dates that might work, that they're much less likely to commit to a date unless they do it on the spot when they're excited about it. So that's why you've got to know your available dates. Go just look through and be like, okay, I can do parties every Tuesday night and every Saturday night, or whatever it is for you, and be like, oh, this one's already blocked off, and so I know I have this one and this one, and then you just have that, or write it down. I mean, Belinda said I write it on a piece of paper and put it in my pocket, so I have those 2 dates, always just 2. You don't want to give them too many options either. If you're just, oh, well, I'm open from here to the end of January, like, that makes you seem I mean, that's just it's too hard to make a decision at that point. So you narrow it down for them. And then if those two don't work, I mean, then you can say, well, we can get this on the calendar. I know that we can find a space to fit you. But I know that's super hard for me because I'm just like, I could do any date. I'm so flexible. And then it turns out that that's not actually the best way. You have to narrow it down a bit for them. Or else it's hard to make a decision. And that's what she talked about. So Belinda's session was awesome. She was a little bundle of energy as usual, and she got me all fired up to do some more home parties. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope it gets you guys all excited too. All right, next video.